this presentation is an update on what we've been doing on our navigation products. So what you see here, and actually on the plinth over there, this is our current range of DVLs, starting off with the low frequency Pioneer, the TASMAN, which you can see over there, our Pathfinder and our Wayfinder. And as you can see, these are all phased arrays. So this is pretty much our standard offering for all of our products right now. And really the difference between all of them is bottom tracking range and depth rating. So this is the timeline of our products. A lot of people are familiar with what we've sort of developed over the years. We've started off with the Navigator, and that was really the industry standard for probably about 15 years. And we have thousands of those around the world on world-class ROVs. Then the Explorer, that was introduced, and you'll still see that in some of the AUVs around the show. The Pioneer is still our current product, and that's for large vehicles or basically anything that needs to bottom track beyond 500 meters. And then as you can see as we go along, and where you see the red X's, that's where we sort of either discontinued and replaced with a newer product, or as I'm going to talk about here, the TASMAN, we've basically done a refresh. So the Pathfinder, although we don't have a model here today, what we're going to talk about today is a new version of that. We recently launched a deeper bottom tracking range on a 300 kilohertz system. So what you see here is this is the current range. We have the OEMs down the bottom with the electronics, 300 meter, 1000 meter, 6000, and then the new 300 kilohertz OEM. And in the background, we've got our self-contained. So the ones along the bottom, what you typically see in AUVs and diver navigation systems, and then we have the self-contained Pathfinder that you can see on a lot of the ROVs, and primarily our the Seabotics vehicle, you can see it on there. And really, what is the difference between them all? Depth rating, and as I mentioned, frequency, which is your bottom tracking range. So with the Pathfinder, you can go from 15 centimeters up to about 500 meters. And basically you can put it anywhere from a 4.5 inch diameter hull all the way up to an XL UUV. So yeah, very versatile product. So the new 300 kilohertz we just launched a couple of months ago. That was really for customers that wanted to go beyond the 150 meter bottom tracking range that we did with the 600 kilohertz. And now with our XRT feature that we launched a couple of years ago, you can now get over 500 meters with a very small, compact DVL. And as you can see here, so this basically the initial option of this is 1000 meter depth rated, and obviously I think we literally just launched this in January. So just like the 600 kilohertz, you'll see us introduce deeper depth ratings going forward. But for now, basically we've got 1000 meter 300 kilohertz system. So the other sort of development we've been working on for the last year is the TASMAN. So although the TASMAN has been out for the last couple of years, and that replaced the workhorse Navigator, and this is what you'll typically see on a world-class ROV. But what we did here, we just made some changes just to give it a bit more versatility by basically having vertical, horizontal connector orientation, a built-in mounting plate like we had on the Navigator, and then we also removed the 3 straps, so we now just have 2 bolts that you can remove the field replacement transducer. And that's really what makes the TASMAN unique. So obviously being on the bottom of a vehicle, the first thing that's going to get damaged when that slams into the seabed is the transducer on the DVL. So what we did a couple of years ago was develop this. It's a hydrostatic transducer. So if you damage it, you just remove 2 bolts, pull it off, and put a new one on. So you can be back up and running within a minute rather than having to send the product back to one of our offices for repair. So again, the downtime is literally minutes, not months. Size-wise, again, as I mentioned, TASMAN's been out for a few years, and compared to sort of the Navigator that we've had out for over 15 years, we made it a lot smaller. And as you can see with the mounting plate now, it's very similar. And we actually have a a navigator adapter plate. So anybody that's got a navigator that wants to upgrade to the TASMAN, it's a very simple change. You can use the same bolt pattern. And that's the plate we have now. So again, just making it easy to upgrade existing systems. And basically what we found with the initial TASMAN that had just the horizontal connector, with the Kevlar cable we used, there was a sort of a large bend radius, and some of the smaller compact vehicles, we couldn't fit the cable. So now we offer a vertical, so you can basically choose which way you want the cable and connector to come out. Again, it just gives you sort of more options for mounting on a vehicle. And the 150 kilohertz Pioneer, yes, that's been out for a few years, but what we've developed over the last couple of years is an OEM version. So for some of the larger vehicles that want to get up to 800 meters bottom tracking range, we can now do an OEM version of 150 kilohertz DVL. So again, much longer range, bottom tracking range, so your navigation solution doesn't have to free inertial for as long. And one thing we've always prided ourselves on having custom configurations, and we still have that. So no matter what depth rating you want, if you want an 11,000 meter depth rated system, which you can see on the far corner, all the way down to a very small vehicle or conformal hull, different materials, we are still offering all of those in all the different variants. Of course, on the website, all of the new data sheets with all the new specs have been uploaded, so you can see we basically updated all of those, and we've also updated the product selection guide. So again, no matter what sort of vehicle it is, if you go on the website, have a quick look there, and then when you've chosen the DVL you need, give one of our team a call, and obviously we can help you finalise which one's best for your vehicle. And that's pretty much an update on the navigation.
Teledyne Marine. Everywhere you look.